You know, I had a list for the top albums of 2020. It was a good list, too. I was pretty proud of it. But then this album had to come along and fuck everything up. Yo, everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button. And if you have any opinions at all you would like to share, leave them down in the comment section. Ashton Irwin, Superbloom. Ashton Irwin, Australian singer, songwriter best known for being the drummer and one of the backing vocalists in pop band sensation 5 Seconds of Summer. He ventured out from the group this year, not leaving, just recording his own solo album Superbloom, and surprisingly only a few months after Calm dropped earlier this year, which I also covered. If you're curious, there will be a link in the corner for you to go check out. I've heard this album getting pretty positive critical reviews, so how does Superbloom stand in my eyes? Well, you already know, but let's find out as I review it track by track. We're going to start with the singles, with there being 3 of them. The first one being Skinny Skinny, which was a very odd track on first listen. The acoustic guitar, the subverted melody that I wasn't expecting, plus these lyrics regarding being self-conscious about body image, physical appearance, and weight. It kind of threw me off a little bit, but over time I managed to warm up to it and I found a catchy song. But with a band as pop-focused as 5 Seconds of Summer, this is the last kind of track I would have expected from a solo career from one of them, let alone the drummer. But this is pretty fantastic. Plus that little distorted guitar solo on the bridge and the aggressive static pulses on the final chorus are nice chaotic touches to an otherwise calm song. It may have been a questionable lead-off single choice, but I think it's still a great song. The second single, Have You Found What You're Looking For, seems like it could have and probably should have been the lead-off single. This booming, grand, and dense song is just so much more ear-grabbing than Skinny Skinny in all the best ways, plus it's even a little bit poppier. There's a good radio-ready foundation underneath that encapsulating guitar and heavy percussion. Plus Ashton really hollers on the chorus, only adding to this captivating element of the tune. It's a very solid track with lyrics about overcoming mental roadblocks and facing the fears that trap you. This is a gorgeous song. Check it out. And the third and final single, the opener Scar, kicks the album off in a very sweet, warm note, with the angelic harp transitioning into these chill verses with a flat guitar that builds up into this anthemic chorus. A similar format to Have You Found What You're Looking For, but on a slightly lower scale as the tempo is a little bit slower. And there's also much less passion in Ashton's singing as well. It's still a good song, but in my opinion, it immediately gets overshadowed by the track succeeding it, which is kind of a shame. Now for the rest of the tracks. Greyhound is this 6 minute and 19 second epic of a track that I've seen getting this rapturous praise as one of the best songs on the record, and to my surprise, it's definitely up there. I'm just incredibly impressed with how the pacing on this song is done. Its runtime is almost justified due to the length and the depth of these verses and choruses, plus little instrumental passages here and there. This would be a killer song to hear live with its chantable melodic hook and sweeping grandiosity. It's really quite beautiful as he sings about this cycle of life, birth, work, then death, but also captures this relationship his mother had with a Greyhound trainer. It's poignant and another gorgeous song here. Matter of Time (Interlude) is surprisingly long for an interlude, nearly cracking 2.5 minutes, but it's just this soothing, entrancing acoustic ballad with a warm guitar and heavenly strings, and Ashton singing in his much somber timbre. And God, I just love this melody here so much. It is sensational, and honestly not a bad interlude. I'll keep it around. Sunshine is probably the one track off this record that really doesn't connect with me in any way. It's very folk-driven, really hammering down on the acoustic guitar that was featured on Skinny Skinny, but to an even pillowier level. It's almost a lullaby with how soft it can be with Ashton's vocals under all this reverb. There are some light pop touches, mainly in the string work appearing occasionally in the background, as he sings about seeing this beautiful sunshine forever and ever, possibly a relationship, possibly peace of the world. Regardless, this is one song on this album I'm gonna have to skip. The Sweetness is easily the most abrasive and genuinely shocking track to come out of this record. It's so gritty, angry, and progressive. It's mind-blowing that this is coming out of one of the boys from 5 Seconds of Summer. Although that element really only appears during the chorus, the verses are much more calm, acoustic guitar strumming, but the build-up to this melty, distorted chorus is very exhilarating. It's lively, and I've had it on repeat ever since I've heard this in full, even at its 5.5 minute runtime. Expertly paced like Greyhound, and with lyrics about this feeling of toxic masculinity, and how showing emotion shouldn't be seen as weak, but actually as strength. Yeah, this is killer. Give this a listen. Best song here. I'm to Blame is yet another surprising track on this record, purely on how urgent the song sounds. The chorus is rowdy, entertaining in its instrumentation, the drums especially with how sporadic and aggressive the pounding is. It's drowning, and trust me, that is a compliment. It almost feels like some outlaw country song or a soundtrack to a shot in that vein where a cowboy could be just riding across the valley. Yet again, the verses are fairly tame and build up to a rambunctious chorus, but this time the build-up is much more gradual than on tracks like The Sweetness. This is another awesome track. Give it a listen. Drive is probably the poppiest track on this record, with the drum machine, the overall moody feeling reminiscent of the newer 5 Seconds of Summer vibe, plus the catchy melodies all across the track, especially on that pre-chorus. Despite all that though, and how that may actually be a positive for me, it just doesn't grip me in the way most of the other tracks did. And I think the fact that it is more poppy is probably the reason why. I mean, even with the rockier instrumental transition about halfway through the track, where Ashton hollers and yells, it just doesn't have that wow factor. The chorus just isn't that much of a climax like the previous tracks were. They were big, grand booms, and this one's kind of just like a sparkler. It's pretty, but I mean, it's not powerful, and just feels a bit weak in comparison to these fireworks of tracks earlier on the record. I'm kind of indifferent to this one. And finally, the closer Perfect Lie opens with this rather haunting progression and flickery beeping synth work, which transform into this eerie industrial verse with distorted synths that could almost double as horror movie effects. It's not the track I would have chosen as the closer, maybe penultimate, but it's certainly effective in trying to portray an ominous feeling, and I kinda love it. Lyrically, it seems to be about how he's in this relationship, but he can tell a perfect lie, hiding his true feelings from this partner with relative ease. This is a very unique song, one that I think should be experienced. Give it a listen. Overall, yeah, I'm sure as you knew from the beginning, I really like this album. I was very impressed with the creative mind and direction coming out in Ashton's music. It shows a true passion, honesty, and vulnerability that quite a lot of male artists don't tend to show as much. And I can really commend this album for doing such. What a fantastic record. I'm feeling an 8.5 out of 10. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.